Hello and welcome to Rathods Science Academy. Today in the session we are going to see current affairs of 5th March 2025. So before seeing important articles which appear in our today's Hindu newspaper, so I want to make you a small announcement. We in Rathods Science Academy we are going to start Prelims cum Mains Foundation new batch from March 10th. So if you want to have the coaching from our academy, we are providing on both and online and offline. So if you have any queries, you can call us on the number 8074765513. And even if you have any query, you can text me on the same number on WhatsApp. And if you want to meet me directly, you can come to the office, which is present on exactly 2nd floor and 3rd floor above Vikas Book Center, opposite Sub Registrar Office, Ashok Nagar. So now let us see the first article. See the title, guys. In Chhattisgarh, husbands take oath in place of women panchayat representatives. So what is this article? So this article is talking about one important concept in Panchayat Raj institutions, that is Sarpanch-patism. So if you see this image which clearly shows that husbands of women representatives of panchayats, they are taking oath. So in which state? In state of Chhattisgarh. So what is the keyword that you have to focus? You have to see panchayats. So where you will be seeing about this topic, panchayats or Panchayat Raj institutions, that is PRIs. So you will be studying in your GS paper 2 under polity. So what are the dimensions you have to see whenever you are seeing this panchayats is, you have to see about constitutional amendment acts. Actually, these panchayats and municipalities, these are related to our local self bodies, is not present in our original constitution, but they had been added through 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment acts. So you have to clearly refer this 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment act, and you have to see what are the related provisions. And especially regarding this panchayats, you have to see about committees, important committees and their recommendations. For example, you may get a question regarding this kind of committees, like consider the following statements regarding Ashok Mehta committee, or consider the following statements regarding Balwant Rai Mehta committee, or else they may give statements like consider the following statements and they will give committee recommended 2-tier structure at panchayat levels. So like that they will give some provisions of a committee and they will ask you to identify which committee gave that. Okay, so in that way you may get questions regarding these committees and it is very important. And next you have to see about different tiers. Different tiers in this panchayats and as well as municipalities. And you have to see election process. You have to see election process at each and every tier. And next you have to see what are the challenges faced by these panchayats. So one such an important challenge is Sarpanch-patism. There is nothing but even the women under reservation, they got this seat or elected in this panchayats, but husband of that woman will be take over in that job. Okay, that is called as Sarpanch-patism. Okay, you have to see about this Sarpanch-patism. And apart from that, what are the other challenges? You have to see other challenges as well. So if you cover all these dimensions, then it is done. And whatever the article which is there now in use, so you can use that article as a case study whenever you are writing about challenges of this PRIs in your mains question. Okay, so now let us see that article clearly. So if you see the context, it says that husbands of 6 newly elected women panchayat representatives. So husbands, they took oath instead of women, instead of their wives, in a village in Chhattisgarh. Okay, no need of remembering the district, you can't remember, but you can remember this case study. And what is this Sarpanch-patism? So it is a term which is mainly used to describe the situation where men acts as Sarpanch-pati or Sarpanch-devar or Pradhan-pati, etc. That means actual political and decision maker will be husband behind woman. Okay, Sarpanch-patism undermines the spirit and as well as purpose of women's reservation in panchayats. So actually, as I said, this panchayats is not present in our original constitution, which had been added to 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. So in that act, there is a provision which says yes, women are reserved. That is around 1/3 of seats are reserved for women. Okay, why this provision had been included in this 73rd Constitutional Amendment? That is to empower women at grassroots level and to improve their socio-economic conditions through representative democracy. But because of this Sarpanch-pati or Sarpanch-patism, it is violating the constitutional rights and as well as dignity of women, and who are reduced to faceless wives. Okay, who are reduced to faceless wives and as well as daughter-in-law in grassroots politics. And even because of this concept of Sarpanch Pati, it is also depriving their agency, autonomy, and their voice in public affairs as well. So, because of this, the quality and effectiveness of Panchayat Raj system is decreasing. And even there will be misuse of funds. And whenever men will be entering, that will lead to the increasing of corruption as well. So here, what are the challenges in tackling this Sarpanch-patism? So why we are not controlling this Sarpanch-patis? Because of some challenges. The first one is, now we are in patriarchal society. So overcoming these patriarchal norms, attitudes and practices that will hinder women's participation and empowerment. So because of patriarchal society, that means male dominant society, women, they are not coming into the politics. And even though if they are coming, so their role will be taken up by their husbands. And next one is resisting political interference, pressure and violence from dominant groups or parties to seek control or influence panchayats. So actually even there is a lot of political interference in this panchayat, so it is also an important challenge. And next one here is lots of barriers. For example, we have poverty, we have illiteracy and as well as lack of mobility. So because of all these things, which is limiting the women's access to resources and as well as women's access to opportunities as well. And this one is balancing domestic responsibilities and public roles. It is also very difficult for a woman, because as you all know that woman, whatever work she is doing, even if she is doing job, everything, but she has to do some domestic care. Domestic work should be done by women. So balancing of these domestic responsibilities in their household and as well as in the public roles, it is very difficult for a woman. So these are the challenges that we are facing to prevent this Sarpanch-patis. And if you see some important constitutional provisions for women representation PRIs, you have to remember articles. So first one is Article 243D. Article 243D of our constitution, which had been inserted through which amendment? 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, which mandates reservation of not less than, that is 1/3 reservation for women in these Panchayat Raj institutions. And this has been even increased to 50% reservation in several states. For example, AP, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Bihar, by making some amendments through their state Panchayat Raj Acts. Okay, you have to remember this also. A state can also improve the reservation by amending their state Panchayat Raj Acts. And this one is Article 243D, which also provides that 1/3 of total number of seats and officers of the chairpersons of the PRIs at each level. In that each level also there should be reservation for women. So you have to remember all these things. And now let us see the next article. Title says Kerala passes resolution against offshore mining. So this article is talking about one important keyword, that is offshore mining. Okay, let me write the keyword. Keyword is offshore mining. So from which subject you can see this? We can see this topic from GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. Okay, so what are the dimensions that you have to see? So first you have to see what is this meaning of offshore mining. So you know about mining. Mining is nothing but we are going to extract minerals. But what is offshore? That means in coast region or in the waters we are going for mining. That is called as offshore. And next you have to see about which kind of minerals that we can extract. Which kind of minerals that we can extract from offshore mining. And you have to see what is the significance of that minerals from economy point of view. and you have to see whether these minerals, they are present in our country abundantly or not, or else whether we are importing from other country. If we are importing the same minerals from other country, from which country we are importing them. So try to make a data regarding these two things. It is very important. And next one here is you have to see what are the concerns. Why Kerala don't want to go for this offshore mining. So here in this concerns, you have to see from different subjects. What are the concerns from environment and ecology, how it is going to damage environment and ecology. And from society point of view, you have to see how it is going to impact livelihood of people and how it is going to impact economy. Okay, so in this way you have to see lot of things, and even from ethics point of view also, what are the concerns. So actually Kerala don't want to go for this offshore mining because it is causing lot of impact on environment and ecology, and as well as it is having impact on the livelihood of the people who are dependent on that, especially fishing communities. So because of these two reasons, now they don't want to go for this. So now let us see this article. So Kerala Assembly has unanimously passed a resolution which is opposing, they are against Indian government's plan, that is central government's plan to allow offshore mining along the state coastline. So they want to go for mining along this coastline. Okay, recently there is one update regarding coastline. So whenever I ask about what is the coastline of India, it is around 7,500 change, 516 kilometers. But recently we got a new update regarding coastline. So actually in this coastline we can see bays will be there, small creeks will be there. So if you cover all those things, it is around more than 11,000 kilometers of India's coastline is there. So see about that update. And especially they are talking about coastline of this Kerala, right? So you have to see what is exactly the coastline of Kerala, and you have to see now according to the new updates which state have the greater coast and which state has the less coastline. You have to see that also, and you have to see about what are the problems faced by the coastal region of this Kerala. You have to see that. Because of that problems only, now here state assembly unanimously passed this resolution. That means you have to understand what are the problems of Kerala. And if you are from Kerala, then obviously you have to know about what are the challenges faced by this coastal areas. So recently we studied that. So backwaters issue and even rice cultivations in this water had been reduced, and even many lakes had been polluted in Kerala, like that. So see what are the problems which they are facing, especially in the backwaters of Kerala. So now let us see the details. So first important point that you have to remember is the fragile marine ecosystem is at risk. So whenever we are going for offshore mining plants, so it will be having obviously threat to the Kerala's delicate marine ecosystem. So the ecosystem biodiversity which is present along this coast of this Kerala will be getting affected. And actually this Kerala's coastline is very rich in diverse marine life, and if there is any disruption, that will lead to irreversible damage to environment. We can't bring that back, so that they don't want to go for this offshore mining. And next one is legislative changes invite private interest. So actually we had an act for exploring this minerals or mines across this offshore, that is Offshore Areas Mineral Development and Regulation Act of 2002. So there are some amendments which I had made. So because of these amendments which allowed private companies to participate in this deep sea mining, that means we can see that there is a shift of control of this mining from government towards private. So whenever that is entering into the hands of private, they will always focus on profit only, profit oriented. They will not focus on public service. So it may cause much more damage to the environment. So this is also one cause of concern. And they will not focus on environmental sustainability. They will focus on their own profits. And next one here is because of this, whenever we are going for any offshore mining, so there will be restricted movement of these people, especially in this coastline. So many thousands of fishermen will be having livelihood. So here there is one more concern that the fishing community in Kerala, they will suffer economically due to offshore mining activities. And even there are some protests which are doing by this fishermen in this Kerala now regarding this. Okay, and next one here is strategic minerals and national security. So here Chief Minister, he raised concerns about national security implications and granting private entities who are having access to the strategic minerals. That means obviously it will be having risk to our national interest also. Why? Because whenever we are amending the acts which are related to this offshore mining, if you are giving permission to the private, that means whatever the strategical minerals that we are getting from that region now will be under control of this private people. So there will be less role of government. So obviously it will be having risk to our national interest also. So this point also had been focused by Chief Minister. And next one here is, there is also the growing concerns regarding export of this strategic minerals to other countries, because if there is increasing of private participation in this, and if this private people are having control on this thing, they will also can export to other countries. And because of this, there is also alarm signals by experts, and some experts are also saying that yes, there will be economical and as well as environmental implications of this offshore mining. And the recent research which also says that whenever we are going for this deep sea mining, that will lead to habitat destruction, and as well as increased sedimentation that will have harm, that can cause harm to this marine life in that region. And if you see some facts regarding this offshore mining, it is a process of retrieving, that is extracting mineral deposits from the deep sea bed, and they can go up to the depth of 200 meters. And here, in which area we can go for this offshore mining, that is we can go till this exclusive economic zone or over 2 million square kilometers. And this one is, which are the mineral deposits that we can extract? We can extract gold, we can extract diamond, copper, nickel, cobalt, uh, manganese and rare earth metals, which are very much essential for the development of our country. And if you see the reserves, so Geological Survey of India, which said that we can get lot of resources from this offline areas, especially we can get lime mud within Gujarat EEZ and as well as Maharashtra coast, and we can get construction grade sand on this coast of this Kerala, and especially heavy mineral placers are also can be extracted across this coast of Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra. Okay, and even phosphorite, it can be seen in especially Lakshadweep Sea and as well as Andaman Sea. It is very important. And even polymetallic nodules that we can extract from this Andaman Sea and Lakshadweep Sea. So these are the things that you have to remember. And now let us see the next article. India hit a targeted maternal mortality rate of 100 deaths per lakh live births, says Nadda. So here this article is talking about one important concept in your society, that is maternal mortality rate. So the keyword is MMR, maternal mortality rate. So where you can see this in GS paper 2 under society and social issues, you can see this article. And apart from that, if you are from anthropology background, so you will be also studying about this topic in your paper 1 and as well as in paper 2. And next, you have to see this topic from GS paper 2 under governance also, because here this article is clearly saying that there is decreasing of MMR, so it can't be decreased directly, right? So there are some steps taken by our government, like some incentives, some schemes, so that it led to decreasing of MMR. So it is your responsibility to make a note of which are the schemes came up by the government that focused on improving of MMR in India. Okay, so all these things that you have to know. And now let us see this article. So this article is saying that India has achieved national health policies target. So according to this national health policy target, so we have to maintain MMR of 100 deaths per 1 lakh live births. For 1 lakh live births, there should be not more than 100 mother deaths. That is called as MMR. And the nation has also achieved 83% of decline in MMR, that is between 1990s and 20,000. Okay, that is 2020, sorry. So between 1990s and 2020, yes, we decreased this MMR to 83%. That means you can understand what are the steps taken by our government and how government is providing incentives for mother. Okay, so if you see here the incentives, you can see the incentives given by the government during pregnancy time, and during lactating time also. So during pregnancy, so government is trying to provide some installments for the women before pregnancy and as well as after pregnancy, especially for contribution of institutional birth. That means normally a pregnant woman, especially from the rural areas, they will give delivery in the home itself, right? So whenever the delivery is happening in home, there is a very high chance of infections, etc., and high blood loss that will lead to the death of a mother. So whenever they are going for delivery in the hospital, so there will be the medical practitioners, and they will be following up their heartbeat, baby's heartbeat, so that it will also help for the proper health maintaining of both mother and a child. So let us see what are the steps taken by the government. So before that, what is MMR? MMR is nothing but the number of deaths of the mother, that is maternal death, per 1 lakh live births. It is very important, and you may get this statement directly in your prelims, and they may ask it is 1000 births. It is not 1000, it is 1000. So what are the government initiatives? You know about this Janani Suraksha Yojana. So Janani Suraksha Yojana under this National Health Mission, which is providing some cash incentives for the pregnant women, especially to assist institutional deliveries. And apart from this, central government schemes, even respective state governments will be also coming up with some kinds of schemes. So especially in Telangana state, during this KCR time, we have a KCR kit scheme like that. So if you're going for delivery in government hospital, the baby will be getting kit, and even they will be getting cash assistance from the government. So like that, apart from the central government, even state governments are also taking their own steps. You have to see which are the steps taken by your state also. Please make a list of that. And this one is Pradhana Mantri Surakshit Matritva Abhiyan. It provides a fixed day for assured, comprehensive and quality antenatal care for free of cost for pregnant women on 9th of every month. On 9th of every month, here pregnant women who are there, they can go for free checkup. Okay, and this one is Pradhana Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana also there, and even Poshan Abhiyan and Laksha guidelines. So under this Poshan Abhiyan, especially pregnant women who had been registered in this Anganwadi centers, so they will be getting milk and as well as egg and some protein food. So the government is providing so that they want to improve the nutrition of this pregnant woman. So these are the things that you have to remember. And now let us see the next article. Title says against domination. So this article is talking about Firefly as Aerospace. So recently, I think 1 day or 2 days ago, we discussed about this topic. So what is the topic? So we, especially US is encouraging private participation in the space. So here there was a soft land by a robotic lander on moon which happened on this March 2. So it is a collaboration between NASA and as well as one private company. Okay, so that is Firefly, and we discussed about that mission clearly, so just refer about that. And now let us see the next article. It is talking about remodeling the UAE India aviation partnership. So aviation is nothing but it is related to your airways, right? So here this article is talking about there is much can be done to improve aviation partnership between India and as well as UAE. So what is the key words? So here you have to see about aviation, and second one is India-UAE relations. So there are two key terms that you have to see in this article. The first one is aviation sector, second one is India-UAE. So where you will be saying about this aviation or airways? So from GS paper 1 under geography. In economic geography, you will be studying about different modes of transportation. So in this different mode of transportation, we have this airways. So what you have to see from this? You have to see about airways, and you have to see about airports in India, and in this you have to see greenfield airports and as well as brownfield airports. And next you have to see about advantages of airways and as well as disadvantages of airways, and you have to see which are the schemes supporting airways in India. For example, we have Udan scheme, so you have to see about that scheme also. And apart from that, this topic is also important from GS paper 3 under economy. So airways, they will run on which fuel? turbo fuel, right? So actually you have to see about taxation of that fuel, and you have to see about what is the contribution of airways to our GDP, and you have to see what are the challenges faced by airways in India, and even we can see like crashing of this airways is happening. So you have to see what are the reasons for the crashing of the airways and what are the measures we can take to decrease that number of crashes. So that is the thing that you have to see aviation. And next one is regarding India-UAE relations. You have to see where is this UAE located. First of all, you have to see map, and you have to see about Indian diaspora. You have to see about Indian diaspora in UAE, and you have to see about India-UAE airways, like which are the aeroplanes or which are the companies which are providing services of airways between India and UAE. You have to see that. And next you have to see about number of Indians who are visiting to UAE, and you have to see number of UAE people who are visiting India. That means you have to see about tourism in between India and UAE, and you have to see important tourist sites in UAE where Indians are moving, okay, where Indians are going to that tourist site. You have to see all those things. So why? Because so this article is saying that there is increased movement between India and UAE. So people, they are showing lot of interest to go for tourism, especially in this UAE, and from UAE also people are coming towards India. But here we are facing some challenges. Okay, so we are facing some challenges in providing air routes between India and UAE. So because of this article is saying that we have to go for remodeling of our policy between India and UAE regarding aviation sector. Okay, so because of this is in news. Now let us see this article in detail. So here UAE ambassador, he asked India regarding importance of modernizing bilateral air service agreements. So whatever the bilateral, that is between this India and UAE, whatever the agreements that is there regarding this airways, so we have to modernize our bilateral air service agreement so that we can meet consumer demand. So there is demand increase from the consumer, but on Indian side and UAE side, they are not providing the proper services as per the increase in demand. So if you want to meet that demand of consumers, we have to modernize our bilateral air service agreements so that we can improve connectivity between the people. So we can meet the demand and we cannot create any inconvenience. So if we want to improve the convenience of the movement of the people, we have to come up with this modernizing of our agreement. So this is a thing which mainly said. And if you see aviation growth potential, so actually in India there is a very rapid growth of aviation sector, and already India is the third largest domestically, indicates that there is increased demand for air travel in our country. And actually if there is at least 1% of increasing of India's passport holders, means there is increasing of 10 million overseas travelers. So that much potential India is having in this aviation sector. So if you see about this tourism and economic impact, so the UAE status as a major travel destination, especially from India, if anyone wants to go to tourism, so they are selecting this UAE as the destination. So because of this, it became a major travel destination for Indians. So because of this, it is having lot of economic implications between India and UAE. So there is a high volume of traffic between the two nations, which mainly says that yes, we can go for expanding of flight options. So that what happens, we can boost tourism and as well as we can improve business exchanges. Ultimately, that will lead to improving of ties between India and UAE. And next one here is we are having some challenges between India and UAE in this aviation. So what is that? Especially whatever the agreement that we made till now between India and UAE, which is giving only 15 Indian cities, which is giving only carriers to 15 Indian cities, so that there is a limiting of the ability to respond to the consumer demand. So we can't reach this or we can't meet the consumer demand because according to this agreement, UAE carriers only they can come to 15 Indian cities. And even Indian airlines, they're also having some barriers, that is increasing flight frequencies to Dubai. And we want to go for re-evaluation of these regulations and it is very much important for enabling airlines to meet the needs of travelers. And even UAE wants to invest in our airlines as well. Especially they wants to invest in India's aviation sector through initiatives like Udan scheme. And actually this Udan scheme, which is providing subsidized air fares for the people, especially they want to go for other regions. So actually this Udan scheme wants to increase its expansion, wants to increase its presence for this tier 2 and as well as tier 3. So if you want to expand this Udan scheme, we can also accept this investments from this UAE. Okay, so whenever we are getting investments from this country, obviously we can enhance regional connectivity, and as well as we can support Indian government's goal for improving air travel access across the country. That will lead to obviously economic upliftment of underserved areas. And even we can also improve seamless connectivity and cooperation so that Indians, they can aspire to achieve global aviation hub status as well. Okay, so that is the thing that which is given here. And let us see the next article. It is about government talks big on gender, budget delivers little. So this article is talking about one important keyword, that is gender budgeting. Okay, so we are always talking about women empowerment and increasing of women's participation, but on budget side they are allocating very less for women. So that is the thing which mainly said. So now you have to see what is gender budgeting. Gender budgeting is nothing but preparing budgets from a gender perspective. For example, they have to allocate some amount of funds to decrease gender inequality, to improve women participation in economy and women literacy, women empowerment, like that. We have to decrease this gender pay gap. That is, males will be getting high pay compared to that of females, like that. So gender budgeting, which allows government to promote equality through fiscal policies by setting goals or targets by equality, and as well as allocating funds to support those goals. And what this gender budget involves, so we will be taking some gender sensitive formulation of legislation, that is women related laws, women related programs and schemes, and then and gender based allocation of resource. That means we are allocating certain resources especially for female, and monitoring of expenditure and public service delivery from gender perspective, and even auditing and as well as impact assessment of the schemes and the funds, and even follow up and as well as corrective actions. All these are the things which are involved in our gender budgeting. So what are the benefits of gender budgeting? Yes, we can ensure gender equality, and we can ensure equal resource allocation for men and women. And next one here is gender mainstreaming. And next one is, if you are applying at all levels, so we can improve gender sensitivity, and also we can improve the formulation and as well as implementation of the programs which are favoring women empowerment. Okay, and even we can recognize like a monetary requirement which is necessary for improving of outcomes regarding the gender sensitive regulations, and as well as programs, legislation, schemes, etc. And we can also focus on proper monitoring of achievement of these policy goals, whether we are achieving them or not. So if we are not achieving, what can be done more, like that. And obviously it will be improving the efficiency, so that women will be entering into the different streams of different streams of our economy, or different sectors of our economy, and their contribution to our economy will be get increased. And there is one article, it is about what are the issues around delimitation. So especially we are discussing this topic from the way from like 1 week onwards. So see this first paragraph. Delimitation is nothing but it is a process of fixing the number of seats and boundaries of territorial constituencies in each state for Lok Sabha and as well as legislative assemblies. That is called as delimitation. And you have to see some facts. What is this Delimitation Act? So when this delimitation had been done earlierly, and what about the delimitation that we are talking about, how it is going to affect the southern states. So everything that you have to see, that's it. So already these things that we had discussed in earlier class as well. So these are some important topics that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much guys for watching, and please do like this class and share this class. And don't forget to subscribe to Rathods Academy.